Yo, 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 yo. This is going to be a special edition of the Mark Sparks Show. This is going to be the last time that I talk about the Will Smith thing, and it's not even so much about the Will Smith thing, but I see a lot of commentary still going on about the topic. I still see a lot of people trying to defend this dude, and I'm just gonna give my thoughts because I didn't feel like commenting again on nobody else's post. I didn't feel like writing a whole fucking essay about this, but I felt like some things just needed to be said, and I just wanted to say it without having to type it. So here it is. The first thing I want to say is this whole thing, seeing the consequences Will Smith has to face for his actions after slapping Chris Rock, can be a talking point and a learning point, but instead I see black people trying to compare ourselves to white America when we already know that we're not held to the same standards as any non-black people. I'm not even going to just limit it to white folks. I'm just going to say non-black people, which is why Tekashi could go fucking do a video in Brooklyn after what he did. You know what I'm saying? And then have a whole bunch of gang members around him again from the other side. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But we already know this when it comes to everything. Because even Tekashi, if Tekashi was black, his career would have been over. Ask Young Dro. Ask Alpha Mega. Ask all of Grand Hustle for that matter. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we not going to pick and choose when we, oh, yeah, if it was this. We already know that. We look at everything that all non-black people do. If it was black people, it would be looked at differently. And I could say that about everything. I could say that about J-Lo. I could say if J-Lo was black, they would be calling her a thought and saying she's a whore. And you go and get married to this one. Now you're getting remarried to that one. You got remarried to Mark Anthony. And if she was black, it would be looked at differently. Everything that black people do, we're held to a totally different standard. And that's just my opinion. That's what I feel. So, knowing that, right? Knowing that as a black person, the things that you do is not viewed the same as other cultures or other people. We know that shit already. So we're not going to be stuck on that, right? We know that. Okay. So the Will Smith, they're like, oh, well. And they try to bring my son Alec Baldwin. That's the homie. Shouts to Alec Baldwin. You know what I mean? Him and his family. Very nice people. I seen people bring up Alec Baldwin. They bring up all of this shit, right? And this is what we fuck up at as a community, because there's things that can be teachable moments. Like, when I was growing up, right? I remember I got into a fight one time, and I was telling my mom, she's like, what the fuck was you fighting for? And I was like, he said something about you, Mom. He was talking about you, and I just couldn't. You know what my mother said? She said, I don't give a fuck. She said, if this school calls me again, and I find out you fighting for dumb shit over something somebody says and they ain't put their hands on you, then we gonna be fighting. That's what my mother told me when I was a fucking kid. She said, yo, I don't care if they talk about me. I don't care if they talk about your dad. If niggas they ain't put their hands on you, I don't want you going trying to fight nobody. I don't give a fuck what they said. Right? And it was jokes. It was people making jokes. They didn't know my mother. But, you know, saying shit, whatever. And my mom wasn't having it. And for me, that was a teachable moment at that point. Like, all right, you know, another teachable moment. People complaining about the consequences that Will Smith is receiving. Another thing, not to bring up my mom again. Rest in peace to you, Mom. I miss you. Not to bring up my mother again, but another thing my mother taught me was, whether you do good, whether you do bad, always weigh out your consequences. And ask yourself, can I deal with those consequences? If you can't deal with the consequences of your actions, do not do it at all. So, like, once you decide, like, all right, you're going to jump out the window, then that means that you thought about everything that could go wrong, anything that could come from this, and you decided that you was willing to do that. It was worth doing that to put hands on this person. And there's times that I've been in those situations where it was like, all right, I'm so in my feelings right now that I'm willing to take whatever consequences come along with fucking this person up. Like, I've been suspended from school, I've been in fucking jail, I've been through for fighting. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I weighed it out and I said, you know what? If I gotta go to jail to put hands on this person, I'm gonna do it. If I gotta get kicked out of school to put hands on this person, I'm gonna do it. And I took whatever came along with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I say that to say the Will Smith thing, instead of complaining about how the man's getting punished, the Will Smith thing could be a teachable moment where we could teach our kids, like, look, he ain't think before he did that. Now a bunch of his movies is getting canceled. You know what I'm saying? Now a bunch of people that was gonna work with him, you know what I mean, are pulling out, like Netflix and all these other companies, they pulling out, right? Instead of using that shit as a teachable moment, we got people complaining like, oh, they shouldn't punish him that bad. No, you don't get to decide the punishment. You know what I mean? You get to decide your own actions. You're in control of your own actions. But once you put your actions out into the universe, you don't get to decide the punishment. You just gotta take it as it comes. You know what I'm saying? And instead of trying to compare ourselves to white folks or Spanish or anybody for that matter, because we know if you're black, in this black skin, the experience I've had in America, I already know no matter what complaints I make, no matter what it is that I say, I will never be treated the same as a white person. So it's very counterproductive to like do fuck shit and then complain that, yo, the punishment is not the same. Yo, I got caught with weed before they legalized weed, right? My first offense I'm not gonna say my first offense. My first drug case, right? My first time getting caught with weed, whatever. It was some white girl that was also in court that day. She was a repeat offender. They gave her ACD. They gave me the maximum fine that you can get, and I was looking like, man. But it also was a wake up call for me to say, you know what? I gotta make sure I don't ever get caught up again, because I know that my consequences are gonna be more severe, and that's just the reality. Like, once you realize that, then you gotta move accordingly, move smart. You know what I mean? It's easier for people like Will Smith because they got millions of dollars. They got money. So to complain that he's not being treated fair when that man was treated more than fair, because most black men do some shit like that, they leaving in cuffs, or they getting thrown the fuck out by the bouncers. Period. Like, that's just period. They allowed the man to stay. Like, and when I say they allowed him because they say, oh, he refused to leave. What do you mean he refused to leave? You know how many clubs I didn't really want to leave? That I got fucking put out. You know what I'm saying? Well, that didn't really happen to me a lot, but it has happened to me before. You know what I'm saying? So that's bullshit. They allowed that man to stay, but then people still complaining like, oh, you know, nah, bro. Like, the reality is this could be a teachable moment to teach people that you gotta have your emotions in check, and if you don't want to check your emotions and you want to act out in violence, then you got to be able to accept whatever consequences come with that, whether it be a person trying to sue you, whether it be you going to jail, whether it be whatever. There's always going to be consequences for your actions. That could be the lesson that could be taught from this shit. Like, not trying to justify, like, oh, he said something about his wife. Because when it was me, my mom wasn't trying to hear that shit. It wasn't like, no matter what they said to you, she didn't give a fuck. She did not give a fuck. And I guess it kind of, being raised that way, it made me kind of think like that. Like, bro, it's words. You're not in danger. He's not a threat to you. So, you know, I just felt like that needed to be said, because I don't hear nobody saying that. I hear people really, oh, he disrespected his wife. Nigga, it's words, bro. Words. Did he put hands on you? And then, to take it a step further, that was some sucker shit to attack somebody while they at work and then casually walk off, because you know this man don't want to end up losing out like how now we see Will Smith losing. And that makes Chris Rock the winner, because he held his composure, and now he's about to make money while Will Smith's about to lose money on that shit. You know what I mean? Chris Rock's going to make money off of talking about what happened to him, and Will Smith's losing money for what he did. So if you want to justify that, that's on you. But any intelligent person is going to say, you know what? You got to weigh out your options. Like, is everything that I'm about to lose gonna be worth it? And then on top of that, the person I think I'm defending ain't gonna defend me in return. She ain't gonna be there and move, yeah, make me feel better. No, she gonna make me mad at myself that I even did that shit. So you gotta weigh your options, guys. Like, is this worth it? And be honest with yourself. That's the problem with rich people. Cause they're so fucking rich, they lose touch with reality. And you gotta be honest with yourself. Is this worth it? That's the question. That's the shit nobody's saying. Like, yo, is what I'm about to do worth everything that's gonna happen after? For every action, there's a reaction. Cause and effect. We learned that in elementary school. Is everything that I have on the line gonna be worth it? And that's honestly a question that fucking people like myself that are not rich like Will Smith, when we encounter situations, we have to ask ourselves every day. People that have kids, that have to take care of their kids, have kids dependent on them. That's a question we have to ask ourselves every fucking day. Is this worth it? Is engaging in this activity, or is dealing with this person on that level where I'm about to slap the shit out of this person, is it worth it if I go to jail and then I lose my job or whatever? That's something that us regular people have to think about all the time. So to try to defend a millionaire because he think, oh yeah, you got all this money, you gonna be good. Nah, man, nah, bro. Like, you the same as the rest of us. Now you know, nigga, you gotta keep your shit in check and weigh your options. That's all I gotta say, man. I'm tired of hearing about it. I think it's ridiculous that we even discussing this, and then y'all wonder why there's so much violence going on, because motherfuckers be condoning violence. And then, you know what I mean, when it becomes a cycle of violence, oh my God, the violence has to stop. Where is it going to stop? At what point? At what point do you tell people, yo, you got to weigh it, pick, is this worth it? Is killing this person worth it? Is slapping this person worth it? Is any of these violent acts worth it when you look at what it's all stemming from? But nobody don't want to say that. Everybody just wants to idolize motherfuckers and then dick ride when they do shit that is clearly wrong. Like, that's just what it is. Like, period. And I don't care what nobody says, because that's just my view on it. You know what I mean? Like it's so much things people said to me, and if I went and slapped the shit out of people, the same niggas defending Will Smith would not be like, Mark, you was right for doing that. Like, come on, man. Like, there's so many, like, I ain't even gonna get into specifics, but there's times that I chose not to do that. You know what I mean? There's times that I chose not to take the Will Smith route, nigga. When people was talking about my baby mother, like, I chose not to go and beef with niggas. You know what I'm saying? Real shit, bro. Like, I chose not to. Because I know I got a lot to lose. And these people's opinion do not matter to me. That shit does not matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, like, the way Chris Rock looks at his wife, or it mattered to him. That shit don't matter to me. Because if you're not paying my bills, you're not fucking, like, contributing to my household, like, nothing these niggas got to say matters. So, no, like, period. Like, and like I said, maybe because I was raised differently. You know what I mean? Maybe because I was raised differently. I was raised to think differently. And to think, not to just act. I was raised to think. This is what we need. These are the conversations we need to have. Not just condoning, oh, he disrespected his wife. No. Think, brother. Think.